Hello, Crixis here and welcome everyone to this week's video. Today I'm going to talk about how to choose a color palette for you, and I will chat about my personal opinions and how I would view and look at the color. And this is opinion you need to take with a grain of salt because this is my personal opinion, and if you have different, that's fine as well. I guess the first and main point I want to say is find inspiration everywhere. I know it's kind of like a cliche, but when you think about it, color and color palettes already live in your life. One thing I would suggest you is to take pictures whenever you see color combinations you enjoy. Either you are for morning walk in the city or countryside, or you go on explore somewhere on weekend. When you take picture of some of the colors you enjoy together, you can use them in the future in your artworks as a reference pictures. So that is something I sometimes do, and also I get inspiration taking pictures from nature because I really love nature's colors, and when I go outside there are so many color combinations that really excite me. So that is one of the things I really enjoy doing. Wow. This is really interesting color. If you are more tech kind of person or like to use Pinterest or Instagram, you can also look at the pictures or illustrations as color combinations, and you can see which colors you like from that particular color palette. Maybe there's like one color that really excites you from those colors you see on those apps. Another thing you can do if you are at home and look for color inspiration, you can go to your bookshelf. If you have at least like some books, you can flick through them. There are also books that have specifically destined to be a color palette books. There is book Nature's Palette, which is beautiful book full of color inspiration. Especially if you love muted colors, it's perfect to get inspiration and to keep you going. There are also some illustrations. In some of the pages they did also like separate color combination options for you to see. And I also have seen Japanese color dictionary, and it's a book where there is a lot of different color combinations, and you can use this book literally opening the page and seeing the colors and creating art using them. For me, the color palette is what I wear, what I own, what I have in my room. This all makes me happy because these are the colors I enjoy. I want to ask you a question. Which colors makes you feel happy and joyful and just brings back positive memories and vibes, and which colors tend you to give like opposite reaction? For example, for me, I really love green color. It's such a natural color and it's so calming and down to earth. But when I think about fluorescent pink or fluorescent yellow or orange, I just want to turn around and not think about those colors for a long time. Even like in clothing, I can't imagine wearing like fluo hat or gloves or anything super bright really. This is how I react to some colors, and maybe you react to colors as well. So that is actually a good exercise to just ask you those questions and maybe look through the house and see some of the objects that you really enjoy, and maybe how these colors look next to each other. So yeah, I hope this first paragraph is inspiring to you, and we will move on to the next one. I want to talk about color sets. So one advice I would give you, don't use all the colors you have. I learned this the hard way when I just started illustrating and doing like picture books and doing like sketches or projects for my university. I just used every single color I had. And I just like literally every single artwork was completely different. All the colors were blending together. And at the end, it didn't like feel like complete color palette. It felt like just all over the place. And I remember when I was sketching for picture book story, one of my first picture book stories, one sketch is like in this color palette, another one is in this color palette, the third one is like completely different medium, different technique, different color, all over the place. One of the reasons why it happened, because there are so many colors, you know, and when you own so many colors, why not use them all? That's why I am not advising anyone to buy color sets unless that is your intention. And especially if you're in the beginning, I would just suggest to buy from open stock. That way you can kind of see and buy slowly and see which colors inspire you and which colors would be useful in your work. And only throughout that coloring and experimenting you can see if you want more colors or not. I would definitely say just buy the colors you love. Okay, so point number 4. Number 4, yes. Point number 4. Establish your color palette on the color you love. So I guess good questions you could ask yourself is which are the colors you enjoy right now? And when you think of that color, try to incorporate it in your art, and don't do it only for one artwork, just follow through and do it for several artworks. For me, I really love pastel enamel color and gingerwood color. I love them a lot. And I don't mind using this color in every single artwork I have. And I feel also like when you look at my work, I have a lot of pale yellow color in my work. The same goes with like pale and muted greens. This is something I love a lot. Kind of color that brings you joy, just use that one to base your palette. And how you can base the color around this specific color, that is the key, right? So I will talk about this in the next point. Point number 5? Yes, number 5. So experiment with combinations, and I guess this is like the most useful advice I would give to everyone, is just to play with color and enjoy the process of playing with color. I have like book filled with sketches and sketching out the color options and putting the color next to each other. It just brings me joy, and also at the end of it, I end up with a color palette I really enjoy. I think I want to talk a little bit more about in-depth color wheels because I use this example a lot in my work, and when I chose color palette, for me personally, I like to choose colors from yellow side, green and blue side. I just thought I'm gonna talk a little bit about color wheels. I might add the separate video talking about it because there's a lot of information. But for me, I will just explain my current color wheel. So I know it's not perfect circle, but anyway, this is yellow, this is blue, this is red. You can do it as well. So basically, these are the colors. There's green up here, there's orange and violet. And currently, coloring which part of this wheel you're using in your work. For me, I use a lot of yellows and greens. I use a little bit of green blues up here. Maybe some things up here. This is kind of the classic part. And then I use a lot of browns, which are somewhere here. And maybe some brighter colors from here. So this is kind of my color wheel. And I don't use any pinks and purples and purple violets and teals in my work, almost never. There are a few exceptions, but I just cut that part of the color wheel completely. Although I love all colors, I'm so happy that I don't need to use those colors in my work. Of course, I'm allowing myself to kind of experiment and use some colors I'm less comfortable with because that way I can grow and explore new color options. Everything depends on what I want to tell in the story. I am really focusing on color as an atmosphere and color as a feeling, but I think I'm really intuitive regarding the color and color palettes. I tend to just play around because that's really important for me, and I want to early on already establish what the story will be about or where is it set, and that way it can help me to pick the colors. I think the last advice I would give you is if you are still not sure what color palette to choose, look back at your previous work and see what colors you used before and what really excites you and what you enjoy a lot. I think this was my first project where I actually felt like all the colors I'm using I'm so happy about and I want to use them in the future. So this is my second picture book I did in 2018, I think, and it's about a fox in rain boots, and all the colors are from Derwent drawing pencils and some of them were Faber-Castell, and this is limited color palette. Although it feels like a lot of colors, a lot of them are super similar, and when I did these small sketches and illustrations, I really enjoyed the color palette. So I worked with pencils and alcohol-based markers for this project. These are the color panels. As you can see, it's super cohesive. It was because I worked with kind of a color palette I chose before I started working on this story. And what is something you don't want to use in your work anymore? I remember when I was doing my first illustrated picture book, which I will show you now. It's in completely different color palette than I work right now, and it was because I was inspired by Franerd, and she uses a lot of blue colors and purples and light yellows, and I was so inspired that my first book was completely in like blue and pink tones. And if you know me now, you know that I don't use those colors at all. But now that I look back to it, I'm like, yeah, I did that. I don't enjoy that work, so let's move on. I also did like rise up prints, which are still currently available in my Etsy store. They're so bright. I was going outside of the comfort zone, but yeah, the colors, they don't excite me as much as more muted colors. I hope this is interesting for you to learn. This is just my personal opinion. I will talk a little bit more about color in future videos. Please write down below what you would love to see regarding to color. And if you want to see more exclusive videos, please check out my Patreon and support me over there. I upload monthly exclusive videos. And also I want to say thank you so much for my lovely Patreons who are supporting me over there. And yeah, I will see you super soon. Bye everyone. Bye. Bye. Oh, and like this video.